Yeah, Moros is a good place. I eat there often.
All right. What do you got for me, sir?
So you're saying the Zim, the sovereign rate is going to be like $8,125?
I'm not telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what's on the screen at the bank. Okay? At a Wells Fargo bank in the continental United States at an exchange center, it's $81.25 as of 2 hours ago.
It's unbelievable.
Well, it's not. Let me tell you why it's not. That's what the new financial monetary authority has audited the nation of Zimbabwe and determined their value is in relationship to all other nations' in-ground assets. That's just what it's worth. If I go to a car lot and I see that Chevy out there, and I say, "Wow, that's a nice looking Chevy," and you say, "Yeah, it is. It's custom, and it's got some really, monstrous horsepower under the hood and dual exhaust, and it's got some high-power brakes, and it's got a bunch of aftermarket parts on it," and you say it's worth $8,125. I'm like, "But that's just a regular stock Chevy from 2007. And you're like, no, it's a lot more than that, and that's what it's worth. And that really is what the car is worth. So what's the difference with Zimbabwe? It looks like it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
They got no currency. They got the country's in shambles. Most of the people are farmers that aren't farming. I mean, it's a mess. But what the powers that be know is the actual in-ground assets of Zimbabwe, including some of the oldest gold mines in the world, are so valuable, and they've kept it so hidden and so low that it's now time to not only make the Western world pay for all the violence and lies that they did financially to the third world countries, but it's time to bring some of those quote-unquote third world countries up to what their true value is on the monetary playing field. And so think of it like an iceberg. And the tip of the iceberg, right, it's always been the Western world. And this is the greatness of the Western world. Underneath was all this hidden value. Well, now that iceberg is completely flipped, and all the value is above the water, and the Western worlds are now below the water.
Unbelievable.
That is just what it is. It's you can say it's unbelievable, but if you did the math and I showed you the auditing, you'd be like, "Oh, I get it. Okay, that makes sense. That's why this is that." Yeah. It's just hard for us in the West to think of a Zimbabwe or a Vietnam or an Indonesia as being that valuable.
Are they going to be the...
Hello? Did I lose him?
Oh, hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I said, are they going to be the wealthiest nation of the world then?
Maybe. Certainly Africa will be the wealthiest continent. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was the rate on the dong? And the
124, 128. 128 was the sovereign rate.
Was sovereign rate? That's for the dong?
Mm-hmm.
And dinar, was that the same?
221 for the dinar.
Oh, okay.
Same for the real.
And real. So you think we might be going in tomorrow then, huh?
I'm on the phone call right now, prepared to go in tonight.
Oh, so you think we're going to get the 800 numbers tonight?
I'm not doing this for my health.
Oh my God! Thank you, Joseph.
I'm just trying to be ready, sir. I have ranges. I get a lot of times and dates, but nobody's ever right about the times and dates, and especially me. So I stopped kind of prognosticating that. But if I just look at the structure of things, the World Court has gone. The Asian elders have released the global collateral accounts. The new currency sitting in the banks now. The security's at a high alert, and we know the ceasefire in Aleppo ends at noon today, and this is the last evening to launch the Zim in the darkness. which I always felt would come between 2 and 4 a.m. because that's the slowest internet time. Yeah, and it's also the safest time to travel. But what do I know? Good questions. Thank you.
Sorry, next caller.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right here. Okay, I was muted. I forgot to unmute myself. Next question, 707. 707, you're up.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Here.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Great. How you doing, Yosef?
I'm so good there should be 10 of me.
What's that?
I'm so good there should be 10 of me.
Yeah, it probably is. You just don't know it yet.
That's right. That's right. I've been cloned. That's right. That's so funny. That's hilarious. What's your question?
Hopefully someday I'll meet you in Hawaii.
Hopefully.
That's where my heart and soul is going to be.
All right. Well, I will be out there. No doubt about it. My heart and soul is there too. So I'm right there with you. Just another crazy holiday.
I've been blessed to get out there and meet all my family I had never known all these 60 years.
Okay. Can I ask you what your question is?
Yes.
Move through the queue.
Actually, I only have one question, and that was, do I have to bring my spouse?
Do you like your spouse?
No, I love her dearly. But the thing is that she doesn't believe in this at all. And through the years we've been married, she's never, ever got involved with businesses that I started or something. And she's always been that, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Trust me, I've got one too. So let me offer some perspective on spouses for everybody. And thank you for your question. Spouses. Can't live with them, can't live without them. No, that's not it. Spouses. They can be your best advocate and your worst adversary because they know you better than anybody else. So here's the deal. Not everybody spiritually was called to the RV in the same way perhaps you were, meaning the Holy Spirit didn't move them in the same way when they saw the same numbers or same currencies or same websites, and they looked at them, they watched over your shoulder, but they just didn't connect to it. I send out sit reps to probably every country in the world, and my wife doesn't even read them. So I understand, and my wife's a professional person that reads contracts, can totally understand these things. Chooses not to, doesn't want any part of it. Doesn't say I can't, but doesn't throw me out of the house either. So it's better than some people I know. So I'm not complaining, but I have the same reality that my spouse isn't on the same alignment that I am. So what do? There's two ways to look at this. Just do it on your own. Just get the 800 number, go do your business, come home, say, honey, it worked. What do you need? Let's start doing stuff. And they'll warm up to the reality once they see the currencies have converted into dollar accounts that you can spend, and they can see those accounts and see the amounts in them. That's one thing. And then they'll become your biggest advocate. That's one way to approach it. Here's another way to approach it. And, of course, there's some spouses that you just wouldn't even think to offer because they would just cause problems and be negative and figure out a way to create drama, and you don't need any drama at the Redemption Center. It's a blessed event. Take people in there with you that will treat it as a blessed event. Here's another concept. What if your spouse is on the fence? Kind of sees what's going on, sees the election being crazy, sees something's changing, something about you is changing, you're really excited you got this appointment. Man, maybe I'll wait to him come home or her come home until I let myself believe and it's real. If you have a spouse that's on the fence, it isn't going to cause you negative vibes while you're in the appointment, I would really encourage going together. And here's why. It's history. right? It's prophecy. It is heaven and earth uniting as one. It is a transactional event that is beyond understanding and precedent, but it's also a spiritual transitional event that anybody with a heart and a soul should participate in at least once in their lifetime. If you go in and redeem and you don't take your spouse, they miss all that. And in a weird way, it slows their progress down because they don't get to see Abbott Downing, Wells Fargo, Chase, whatever bank you go to, HSBC, Royal Bank of Canada. They don't get to see this whole universe that's built up that you've been following, in the middle of the night, losing sleep and losing eyesight, reading all the data and all the websites because they didn't go. Whereas if they went and they see this military presence and they see you've got your shit together, excuse my French, and you know what you're doing and you've got a plan and you've got your little portfolio, and they just come and sit there. Just sit there. They don't got to say anything. They just sit there. But they see it all working. They see this whole hidden universe that their spouse had the courage to stand up for, to complete, and to provide sustenance for generations of our family despite my opinion of them. Now, that might give you a little bit of credibility in your own home. I guess they call it street cred on the street, but this would be home cred because you were right. And instead of doing the happy dance and say, I was right, you were wrong, you allowed them to participate in your great moment of bliss because we're a couple and we should experience these types of amazing things together. And I just think that if you have a spouse on the border that could be convinced with a little bit of a smile and a come on, honey, let's do this together. It's going to be history, and I just want you to be there, and you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. I'll do all the talking, but I want you to see it because I just think it's going to be something you'll never forget for the rest of your life, and I want to experience this with you. You have to make the determination on which type of person or where your spouse is at. But I'm going to try and get my spouse to go one more time and even get a babysitter for the kid, even if it's in the middle of the night, because and drop the kid off en route to the redemption center because I wanted to experience it. So that's just my take on things. It's your call, but make sure whoever you take in, whether it's your spouse, an accountant, a lawyer, a friend, a trust attorney, whoever you trust, to help you through this process and make these decisions, that they don't cause problems. And if you feel that they don't understand what's going on, just step over them with your speech. And it might look rude initially, and I know they're probably there because you respect their professional opinion, but maybe ask them to be more of an observer than a contributor, and just make sure you don't do anything stupid or ask questions like around the transaction that you're doing. Because if they're not in a vibrational place to handle what's going on and they see the zeros on the screen and they've never even thought about those types of zeros, they shouldn't be there. So you could have a really talented attorney. I have this one woman in my neighborhood. I mean, she's a high-powered attorney. She makes $750 an hour as a bankruptcy attorney. And I was going to retain her firm to do some of my work. And I spent a week with her trying to help her understand this. She could never get her arms around it. So instead of hiring her firm, I gave her 10 Zim notes, and I said, go help the world. She has a physically disabled child. I said, go help every physically disabled child in the world, and I'm going to go take my legal business elsewhere. Because she vibrationally would not have been able to handle the business that I was doing, not just in the redemption center, but after. So you've got to make sure that whoever you bring into that redemption center is in alignment with the opportunity and the experience. And if you have a spouse on the fence, try and get them in. Don't force them, but it certainly encourage them. Good question. Thank you.
Next caller is 615. 615, you're up.
Hey, Yosef. Appreciate being able to ask you a couple of questions. I'm speaking for not just myself, but a couple of other people, too.
Okay. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Nashville, a suburb of Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Nashville's a very lucky place. They got a whole team of benevolent soldiers, huh?
I guess. I'm not aware of that. But anyway.
I'm talking about you and them. You guys hold Zim?
Yes.
Well, then trust me, you're the chosen ones for the Nashville area.
Well, I know I'm not the only one because I'm in some Skype groups, but
right.
So you're saying even if we sign an NDA, the spouse doesn't have to sign?
No.
Good.
They would prefer it. They would prefer it, but no, that's not mandatory.
My spouse has dementia, so I don't want to take him.
Yeah, exactly. Some spouses have dementia. Some spouses aren't talking to the other spouses. Some spouses are out of the country. Some spouses are traveling. Some spouses are getting their tonsils out tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a variety of things. So they have to treat it on a one-on-one basis, every individual currency holder. They will ask at the time of you setting your appointment whether your spouse or anybody else will be coming with you. Okay. And that's the time to reveal that if you're going to bring somebody.
I have a friend that has a power of attorney for a gentleman who is in Zimbabwe at the moment, digging water wells. But anyway, she has some Zim, but he has, from what I understand, a humongous amount.
Okay.
That he brought back the last time he was over there.
Sure.
He didn't buy it. They just gave it to him. It was no good, you know.
Right. How great is that, huh?
Will she be able to sign an NDA for him with the power of attorney?
Does she have Zim herself?
Yes. Okay. That he gave her.
Okay, yeah, but still, it's hers, right? So it's hers to do
it is hers, yes.
What I would do is I would call and set up my appointment for myself, and I would say I have Zim, and you get in there quickly. And then while I was in there, I would say I also hold the power of attorney for somebody in Zimbabwe to help cash them out. Is that something I can do here at the time of this redemption appointment, or do I have to set another one, or does he have to come back? And don't let the call center people answer that because they're just there to set the appointment. Let the attorneys and the bankers answer that while she's sitting there at her own redemption meeting. Now,
so
if I'm a bank...
She needs to take his Zim with her then.
I would take all the Zim and I would take all the documentation and bring it all in, because if I'm a banker and I see that Zim sitting there and they've got a real power of attorney document and they put it in this guy's name and you do it legally, I might take that chance. So I'm sure that's come up for powers of attorney, because there's going to be a lot of people with power of attorney that, what if you bought Zim and you got in a car crash and you can't physically go in, but you sign over your power of attorney for somebody else to go redeem your Zim? It's the same thing, right? Same thing. So we're going to have a lot of those issues. That they're very trained to work through all of that, and I don't know what their internal protocol is, but just know that they know. So ask your questions early and bring it in. And just be honest, and if they can't do it, they'll tell the guy to come back, and maybe he can set an appointment while you're at the existing exchange so that he can qualify for sovereign rates when he gets back, or you can tell him to make a phone call from Zimbabwe to set the appointment for 2 or 3 weeks when he gets back, and that would give him time to travel, and you'd still hold on to his Zim and protect it. You could maybe even leave it there in holding, too. As part of like an SKR program until he got back, so you didn't have to take it home. That's probably what they would do. So, but again, I'm just speculating. I don't know. I don't know what their internal protocol is. Go Nashville.
Okay, next caller, 727. 727, you're up. 727. Hello. Okay, next one then. 410. 410, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Yosef. It's nice to hear you again.
Oh, thank you.
I'm calling from Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh, yes. What's the military base in Annapolis? What's the school?
Oh, the United States Naval Academy.
Yes, the Naval Academy. What a beautiful city, Annapolis.
Yeah, we have lots of crabs.
Okay.
Anyway, I have a quick question. I believe you may have answered it already, but I want to ask if you could comment whether I have an option. My daughter, I have 3 daughters, and myself. We all have them, and we'd like to go in to exchange as a family group because we want to create a business. And, a foundation that would be an umbrella under which we would set up and administer humanitarian projects. So that's my question.
Okay.
Can we go in as a group?
You can ask. I would ask. But even if they don't allow the number, how many people in your group?
Be 4.
If you're all family, maybe I don't know. That's something for the call center to respond to and them to decide. I don't know all their internal protocols for number of people or professionals. I only know of the Redeemer plus 2. Okay. Which could be a spouse or a professional or whatever.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's plus 3 if that's allowable. What I do know is this. You can start the process and get everything transferred into, skeleton trusts and charitable trusts and personal monies, and then set up an appointment 2 to 6 days after the initial exchange with the entire family, and that would be the place to do that type of structuring for not just your foundation, but your trusts and everything like that.
Under that scenario, though, one person would have to carry, at least go in initially with all of the Zim.
Why?
So that we would get in under that 24-hour, 48-hour.
No. You'll have time. You can split it up if you want to and go in 4 different caravans.
Okay.
Or you could do 2 different caravans and do 2 and 2.
So what I'm hearing you say, then, is that we have to make the phone call and make it up within.
Right. It's just the phone
48
call.
hours.
It's not the appointment. It's just the phone call. And you'll have plenty of time to do that. In terms of Zim holders, everybody's so freaked out about not making it, in time. Just know this. Good news travels fast. And great news travels really fast. And incredible, super-duper prophetic news travels at the speed of God. You'll know those 800 numbers are out in the first 10 minutes that they're out. Your email, your text, your websites, everything, your Twitter, everything will light up, okay? And your daughters or yourself, you won't see a morning if it happens in the middle of the night without knowing the 800 numbers are up. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I wouldn't really worry about anything. They've got everything covered, and you know the sovereign rates, and you know what it takes to accomplish them, and you'll determine what's the best rate for you and your family and go from there. You have plenty of Zim, it sounds like, so if you're creating any drama, it's just because the volume of it's so large, you're just trying to reconcile it. When the best thing to do with the Zim is just take your hands off of it and enjoy the process, and just know that God will place you with the right people and the right redemption center and the right call center person and the right trustee attorney and the right banker and the right rate, and you'll have a beautiful, loving experience, and you'll be in and out and having breakfast and cracking up and how easy it was and how much worry you put into it all these years, and it'll be a hoot. You just won't believe how easy and abundant it is. You just won't believe it. And that is kind of how humanity is going to be feeling moving forward without the bounds of the vibrational controls on our planet. We're just going to be able to function and operate so abundantly and so freely, just people constantly be waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it just never comes. So I hope that gives you some peace. I would tell them you want to do 4 people off the bat if preferable, and I don't know that they'll allow that. If not, I would take the best 3 or the best 2 and then set up the secondary appointment for the whole gang to come in and structure out everything you want to do. This initial appointment is just to get the currency out of your bedrooms and basements and briefcases and sock drawers and get it into the bank, converted into digital currency in whatever state, country you're in. And then the secondary appointments are set up for all the structuring, all the advanced trusts, all the foundations, all that stuff. The first one is just literally a straight currency exchange. Okie doke?
Okay. We're going to go on to the next caller, Yosef?
Yes.
Okay. 403. 403, you're up. Oh, I'm muted him. Sorry. 403, you're up. VoIP dialer, 403. Oh, okay. We'll go to the next VoIP dialer. You're up. VoIP dialer. VoIP dialer PD, you're up. Wow.
How many are still listening here?
There's a lot. There's 600. How many callers are on, or how many people are on, or how many people are on the?
Both. How many people are on? How many callers we got?
Okay, we got 648 still on the call, and we have 20 at least questions.
Okay.
Still.
All right. I'm not going to do 20, but I'll do a few more.
Okay, you tell me when you're ready, and I'll stop.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. So we'll go to Anonymous. You're up. Anonymous, you're up.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. You've got an echo. Can you turn down your speakers?
Got it. How's that?
Much better. Much better. Thank you.
Okay. Kind of a 2 questions. But once Nasara kicks in and everything else is going, will our irrevocable trust become revocable? Will all irrevocable trusts become revocable trusts?
No. You're missing the term of what you're combining things. Jasara and Nasara are already occurring. They're occurring right now. Literally right now. Everything is transitioning over to that global framework that has been agreed upon by all the world's communities, including all the world's galactic brothers and sisters. And we have been brought back into harmony again with all of our brothers and sisters in good standing in the galaxies, super galaxies, super universes around us that are known to us and us known to them. So that is all happening. In terms of a revocable trust, what revocable means versus irrevocable means you can just change it. So an irrevocable trust means once you set it in stone, it's set. And a lot of people like to use irrevocable trust when they pass on so that their legacy and how they see the world can continue on, and somebody can't change it as the trustee that takes over for their trust.
Okay.
So when you say Nasara becomes the trust, it changes the way the trust system works. It changes the entire trust system, yes, but the basic premise is not a Nasara thing. It's just more of a common sense thing. Some trusts are meant never to change, and some trusts are meant to be changed quite consistently. It really depends on what type of trust you want to get yourself into, and you can do both.
second question?
Yeah.
Would you happen to know anything about Aboriginal, indigenous Moroccan land?
Moroccan, no. But I'd be fascinated to find out.
Yeah, I'm learning now. I'm starting to learn a lot about this, and that the flag of the Moroccan land does exist. It's in the Benjamin Franklin room in the White House, and I even saw the flag sitting to the right of Clinton when she gave a speech out of that room. I don't know, maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. I was just wondering if you knew anything about them.
They're called the
Moroccan
Amazi people.
Moors. The Moors. MOOR.
Okay, I'm looking at the indigenous peoples of Morocco. Is that in North Africa?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I understand it goes even further. It covers more land, more continents.
Okay. No, I really don't know about that. And while it's a wonderful question, I think let's stick to some financial stuff before the RV and kind of maybe put a pin in it for another time. It's a great question.
Yeah. I just was curious. You know, you're doing work for the Hawaiian folks, and you happen to know about them.
And the Filipinos.
Right,
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, God bless.
God bless.
Boy, okay, Morocco indigenous people, show me. I mean, that's a toughie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, brother.
305.
Yeah, Canes. It's Canes. Hey, bro.
Hey, man.
I fell asleep. I woke up and you're still here. Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. How can I help you, Mr. Hurricane?
Rough night. We lost bad again.
No, it's okay. It's just sports.
Yeah, believe me, with this news, no problem with that.
It's just sports.
Yes, exactly. Believe me, I don't want to take a contest of who needs this the most, but I don't want to get personal and list what I have on my plate.
Awesome. Thank you for not doing that.
Typing.
Because we all have a lot of things on our plate. What's your question?
Besides the rates, that's, I'm fascinated when this is done, who is right and who is wrong.
In terms of what?
The abuse you get on the sites about Nasara and the SITREP reports and
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can come out and speak the cold hard truth, and I mean, you're gonna get stoned most of the time. I mean, it's just what it is. That's how deep people are in the matrix. Not only do they verbally defend it, the status quo, but they physically fight you on change. So yeah, I'm quite used to this. I've been dealing with this for 10 years now, long before I ever I've only been in and around the currencies for 2 years. I was doing historic bonds and sovereign assets and gold and the global collateral accounts and commercial paper and trade and, I mean, everything you could think of, standby letters of credit. I mean, I'm very well versed in this world, but what I'm not used to is getting smoked personally and professionally by offering people free information that I'm not asking anything for. So I think that's probably true for a lot of us that go speak to our friends and our family about the changes that are not just coming, but I mean, they're happening right in front of our faces. And don't you see it? Don't you see this going on? Don't you recognize it? Here's an article. Here's a news clip. Here's a press briefing. Don't you see this? And they can't. They just their thought adjusters do not angle them that way, and the Holy Spirit doesn't fill them with the attention span or the knowledge to be able to absorb what's needed to move to the next challenge. It's not their fault. It's just where they're at. And instead of trying to convince the world to come where you're at, it's best to just keep moving. And whoever comes with, comes with. Spouses, children, mothers. I mean, when your mother gives up on you because she thinks you live in a fantasy world for the RV, it's kind of hard to say goodbye, Mom, because you're the one living in the fantasy world. And that's tough. Wives, husbands, children, employers, neighbors. Am I preaching to the choir, or can I get an amen out there? Come on. I mean, we're all truth tellers in our own way to our own degree, and we all get smoked. We all get the stones. We get just a small taste of what Christ might have felt when he was, marching Calvary Hill. I mean, this is what it is. If you're going to speak truth to power, if you're going to change the system, if you're going to be a chosen one and go redeem your Zim, you are going to get scars. You are going to get scars. And all those things that are on your plate, those are your badges of honor. And a lot of them will drift away after the RV. Some won't, but most will. If nothing else, vibrationally, they can't hold on to you anymore. You'll be like Teflon, and anything negative like that will just won't connect, won't find a host, a vibrational host to seep into and bury and grow. Because your energy will be too light, your joy will be too great, it just won't connect to you. So I feel for everybody that has to take those slings and arrows, and ShowMe, you're no different. I mean, the indignities that we've had to suffer by standing up for the truth are part of standing up for the truth. It's part of the gig, and that's why there's so few chosen ones, so few Zim holders, because who the heck's going to stand up for something that was given away to a guy for free in Zimbabwe that's now worth quintillions of dollars? Does that make any sense?
No. Yeah.
So how are we logically going to try and explain it to people who are committed to logical, practical, common sense ways of thinking? I mean, let's be perfectly frank. I'm speaking to 650 of my closest friends who get me, whereas I go to a family dinner, nobody even freaking talks to Yosef, Nobody wants to get around me, because if they ask me a question, I answer it honestly and sincerely, and they don't want what comes out of my mouth. So I'm right there with you, folks. But we I think in our own way, to our own degree, we've all earned we're going to earn our redemption appointment, just in terms of sticking with it.
That's the truth. Okay, do you want to keep going, Yosef?
Yeah, I can take a couple more.
Okay, Anonymous, you're up. Anonymous.
Hello, Yosef.
Hello.
I'm wondering, do we still get the structural payouts, and do you know the terms?
I do know the terms. Rates are anywhere from, hold on, let me go look. The last rates that I have on terms for the structured payouts, they start anywhere from 2 years to 50 years, which would be 24 months. Actually, I've heard some at 18 months. If you choose a structured payout, you don't have to. You get higher rates if you choose a structured payout, and you have to sign an NDA. But if you choose the structured payout, it goes up to 8.15%. How's that? In terms of interest per annually or per year. 2.75 is the low, 8.15 is the high. Principal invested has to be a minimum of 65% up to 100%. Available liquidity can be anything in between, and if you're 70 years or older, you have to do what would be a minimum of a 5-year program, but I still think you get the higher rates. It's almost like a senior discount. You can get the higher rates for a shorter period of time, whereas if you were 50, 40, 30, it might be a little different rates and terms for you in terms of the length of the program. So structured payouts are only there for people that want to also invest their money at the time they redeem. And that would include the second appointment that people would get after their initial redemption appointment, which is just to get the money off the street, just to get the currency converted. Don't fear the structured payout. I'm going to do a structured payout, not because I couldn't make more money managing it in different banks all over the world. I just don't, it doesn't give me joy to manage money. Interest is a lie anyway. So just like debt, it's all nonsense. It's all made up nonsense. You can't take something and you can't take nothing and get something for it. So I just fundamentally don't believe in interest in now, I'm not going to not take it if they give it to me, but I just fundamentally don't believe in it. So I'm just going to go with the structured payout for as long as I can. And I'll take, personally, I'll take less than 1% of 1% of 1% of my wealth in terms of liquidity for personal and family use. And everything else will go into charity or job creation or, global collateral accounts of my own, grouping to disperse freely around the world without any recourse. I'll just give it away. I'll literally just go into cities and villages and give it away. I'll have to figure out how to monitor it and see it and disperse it functionally and with integrity and morality so it doesn't get in the wrong hands of bad people in third worlds or first worlds for that matter. But at the end of the day, if they never pay it back, so what? My job is to get it out. And I'll do that as efficiently and as accurately as I can. And the Lord has blessed me with so much of it, I don't really need to take much to make sure that my family has generations of wealth. We'll manage the trust as a family anyway. So in essence, we'll be keeping 100% of our money because we'll be in control of it. But in terms of personal wealth, I'll be less than, I think I calculated, I'll be less than 1% of 1% of 1%. So these people that are taking like 90-10 splits on these Zims, it just cracks me up. Like they don't get it. You don't get it. Go try and spend $1 million a year. See how hard it is. I mean that. And I'm not talking about on houses or cars. I'm talking about go buy bread and groceries and take trips and just go try and spend $1 million in a year. It's hard. So we're talking about billions, trillions, quadrillions here. Careful what you ask for, folks. I hope you're prepared spiritually, because if you're thinking of this as a transaction, when you get into that type of abundance, those types of numbers, and you're trying to make sense of it, forget it. You'll never make sense of it. Only by leaning into the spiritual aspect of it will you be able to not only work with this kind of wealth, but enjoy it. And it will immediately turn you into a global philanthropist. Anybody that redeems Zen will immediately become a global philanthropist. Guaranteed. You don't know it yet, but it's so much, it'll hit you at some point, the reality of it, and you'll go, oh my God, I'm a servant of the world. What else could this be?
Yeah. Hey, Yosef, when you were saying those percentages, I'm sure I'm going to get asked this tomorrow. Those percentages and structured payout, will they be roughly the same in Canada? I imagine they're all going to be adjusted.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's more of a human thing, ShowMe, than a U.S. and American thing. Now, I don't know if there's some laws that might govern things differently in Canada. I know, like buying property is different in Canada than the U.S. I mean, there's some other very specific things about ownership and tort law. I mean, but that's every country, right? So, no, from just a human, functional, get this in, get this out kind of a thing. They want you to have as much liquidity as you need, But I will tell you this: that those that put the majority into philanthropic endeavors will get the higher rates. That I can guarantee you. Yeah.
Okay, you want to do another call?
why do Canadians always feel like things are different for Canadians than Americans? Like I've lived in Canada for a summer. I've traveled there a lot. Like I don't. Where does this lack of value come from? It's weird. You guys are some of the kindest,
we're very
humble. You're moral. You're just nice. You're not aggressive people. I mean, you're not like you don't get into fights and shoot people and like. You live in such a beautiful, part of the world. I know it's cold, but it's still beautiful. I mean, it's just I don't get where the lack of dignity comes in from the second fiddle. I mean, your raw assets in Canada are stunning compared to ours. Per capita.
We're just quiet. We don't talk about it.
I guess.
We all signed NDAs, Yosef.
Yeah, you sign NDAs before you even redeem anything. You just to be a Canadian, you sign an NDA. We'll call it an NCA. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny. I just find Canadians to be very, very moral, decent, kind people, and they look at the United States as though we're like some, great juggernaut of culture, and we're bunch of idiots running around all trying to be celebrities, It's amazing you look up to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Canada.
Enough about Canada, yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring a Canadian on, so let's see on the call here.
Okay.
So try that 403 again. 403, you're up. Maybe you're not. 403, you're up. 403 VoIP dialer, you're up. No.
Well, I think we got to move on.
Yeah, it's not working.
They're not in vibrational alignment to this call.
Yeah. 323.
Whoa.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I have two short questions.
Sure.
The interest rate between 2 to 8%, is that the total amount included? Total amount?
Those are the annual interest. Those are the annual interest rates that the structured payout packages will be offered between. It is my understanding between 2 and 50 years.
I see. Wow. Great. Thank you.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Another question is this is more of a spiritual question.
Sure.
History, like the Napoleon has said, history is written by winners, and I read Bible almost every day. How do we know if the Bible is not tampered?
It is tampered.
So then, how do we?
It's been rewritten 3,000 times.
Right.
Well, let's look at.
How do we know what to believe then? Yes.
Because God is within you, and as long as you just stay in concert with God and you keep the dialogue going between yourself and God, and when you talk to God, you're in a form surrendering, right? You're acknowledging that God is within you and God is all. And so when you have conversations with God, He will speak to you. And He will discern your judgment on what is true and what is not just by listening to Him. So regardless of what's on the page or what's in the book or what really happened in the life of Christ and the times of Abraham and Moses and Noah, I mean, it's best to look at everything. And I'm not saying there's not eternal truths in the Bible. That's not what I'm saying. But it's also been rewritten by every conquering leader that's ever had a crusade. So both are true. You have both light and dark in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything's been angled. Even the colors and the picturing, the how Jesus is painted has been changed over time and lightened, and almost like Michael Jackson. He got lighter and lighter and lighter the longer it went. So my point is this: try and look at everything as Christ would look at it. There was no Bible when Christ was here. There was no Christianity when Christ was here. there was God or not God from the eyes of Christ. And I think if you look at things in those terms, you'll get the truth. You'll get to the answer. And you can look at the Bible as God or not God and see the will of God in it just by your own discernment mechanism. Now, you got to work at it. It's a muscle. But if you're in a constant discussion, conversation with God, and you're in a perpetual surrender, you will be shown the truth. And it will jump out at you. And that is not something you can learn from a book, or you can even learn from somebody else. That is a daily spiritual practice between you and God, regardless of your faith, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Hebrew or a Buddhist. It doesn't matter. God is all, and He sees all, and He is all, and He knows all. And He's willing to share that with you if you're willing to surrender to His word over yours. But to do that, you got to be quiet. That's what meditation is for. How many people go on a walk with God for half an hour a day? Just, God, what's going on? Here's what I'm feeling. Talk to me. Show me. Help me. Where do you want me to go with this? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with my child? What do you want me to do with the car? What do you want me to do with this house? What do you want me to do with this relationship? What do you want me to do with this job offer? What do you want me to do with my eating problems? What do you want me to do? Surrender, 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 surrender. It's amazing how intelligent you get. You get your own talk show in the middle of the night.
Right.
If you want to know why people are listening to me, sir, and not somebody else, it's because I have made a perpetual surrender to God. I work on it every day. Every day I try and take a walk with God. Every day I try and spend time with Him. Every day I ask, and all through the day I ask, like, God, what's that? What's that all about? Why is that show on TV? And if I read Bible passages, I'm like, show me the truth in this. Show me how you want me to understand it and what the truth of it is versus the way it is explained to me on the page. And it's amazing the information you get. It's amazing. Half the people don't understand the sit reps because they don't understand that some of it doesn't really come from man. It's all pieced together sometimes from things that I'm told to look at. I mean, I told people about Paul Ryan 6 months ago. You know where I got that? On a walk with God. And then I went and looked it up, and sure enough, boom, third in succession. The Pope comes in, drops Obama, drops Biden, there he is. And then all of a sudden, Paul Ryan's putting this Better Way plan together, and he's running it out for the entire world to see. And it's like, oh my God, they're really doing this. And God showed me that. And He kept showing me that. And He's showing me this even tonight. He told me to get on the call. I said, okay. Dr. Dabasiete, I said, can I get on? She's like, I just closed the queue. You want me to reopen? I'm like, yeah, because God told me to get on the call. Because He heard everybody struggling with these last questions, and I think He used me to help maybe answer a few. Sharpens me before my appointment, right? So really lean into God. Just the relationship with God, to be able to love on God and let Him love you back. To see insurmountable situations and say, God, I don't know that I can handle this, but I know You can. And I know You can handle this cancer, and I know You can handle this troubled child, and I know You can handle this illness, and I know You can handle this debt, and I know You can handle this marriage that looks like it's completely off the rails, but if anybody's going to bring it back, it's going to be You. I just want to do what You want me to do. Just show me what You want me to do in this situation, whether we keep the marriage, I keep my body, I keep my life, I keep my house, I keep my job, whether I redeem the Zim at $1,000 or 10 cents. I don't care. Just let me do Your will, and let's go from there. Because my will doesn't get me anywhere. And Your will is heavenly, and I want to live heaven on earth. And I want to live as Christ lived with You on the earth, with that perfect connection to his Father, to his Creator on the earth. I want to live like that. And I'm not always there every second of every day, but every once in a while, man, I touch it, and wow, I don't need your money. I don't need your RV. I don't need your redemption centers. I mean, I know God. I know him. He's in me. I know him. That's enough. If I get nothing else in this lifetime, in this experience of being human, that's enough. You want to give me digital credits for paper? Okay, let's do that. But the way I look at my redemption appointment is I get a chance to go speak to a handful of people that are probably really wired and amped up because they got to process a lot of people, and I get to show them the face of God in my face. I get to sit there in front of them and love on them. I get to let them know it's okay, and we appreciate you, and thank you for all the training and effort that you've gone through. Thank you for all the late nights and all the time away from your family so that you could be here for that moment when we needed to be here. I know I'll get the rate I'm supposed to get. I know everything will work out. I know I'll accomplish what I'm supposed to accomplish after the RV. But I want to find God in that redemption center. I want to find God on that 800 appointment. I want to walk with God when I come out of that place. And even though I know financially everything just changed and I'm suddenly the biggest guy in the room, in any room pretty much I go into, the same thing will be there for me in 2 days as it will be in 10 days, as it will be in 10 years. How do I find God in this situation? And how do I be more like Christ in this situation? Everything else I do is stuff. Where I live, what I would drive, what I wear on my feet, stuff. Am I serving God wholly, fully? I mean, I fall short of it a lot of times, but I'm always willing to get back on the white horse and keep riding with him. And he's taken me out of the darkness, and he's bringing us all out of the wilderness now. That's what it means to be in a relationship with Christ. That's what it means to love God. That's what it means to surrender, is to acknowledge that the power of God is always within you. The conversation with God is always going. He misses nothing. And he's always there whenever you're willing to pick him back up and love on him, because he has infinite love for you and all people, all creatures, all species, all planets, all rivers, all lakes. Watch how quick he fixes the world just because we're paying attention to him. Watch. Don't blink. If you're in an inner city and you got a lot of crime, don't blink. I'm just telling you. The guy in Wayne County in Michigan there, downriver, is a pretty tough area, very unhealthy area, but a lot of really good people. Watch how fast that fixes. There's like 20 communities in that area. Watch how fast it gets fixed. That gentleman's Zim alone would fix that entire 20-city area in a 10-year period just on what he has in his own hands. And you all got that in your hands, don't you? Yep. Mm-hmm. See now why I always talk about surrender to God? You'll do more good work. You'll have more fun. You'll get healthier. You'll be better if you surrender. If you don't surrender, it's going to kill you. Literally. You try and do things on your own with that kind of money, with God's money, good luck. Good luck. There's a price to pay for being on the white horse, and it means serving God. It doesn't mean serving yourself. Now, can you have a nice car? Can you have a nice house? Sure. But if you're not buying 100 houses to the one you're getting, and if you're not getting 1,000 pair of shoes to the nice one you just bought, you don't get it. Want a nice house? Great. Go build a community for somebody else. You want a nice car? Go buy 1,000 vans for all the churches in town, all the synagogues in town, all the mosques in town. You can. Just on your interest alone, you can. Again, I'm preaching here because it's late, and I get preachy late.
I enjoy that.
I get tired. but I just know when we talk about chosen ones and human angels, and this is who I'm speaking to here in the middle of the night. I'm speaking to the human angels as a human angel trying to find his way. And one of the ways I help find my way is help you guys find yours and give you the encouragement and the confidence to trust that not only is the money all real and the currency and all that is real, but the love of God is real within you, and you are a representative of Christ in the world, just as Christ was a representative of God in the world. Pretty cool stuff.
Really.
And we're alive to do it, and we're healthy enough to go do our redemption appointments and spread the love around. It's not about zeros, show me. It's about heroes, man. How many heroes are we going to make? How many human angels are we going to cultivate? How many families are we going to bless? How many cities are we going to get into and love on? How many schools? Gosh, how many gardens? How many animal centers? How many parks? How many research grants? How many school scholarships? How many school lunches? Oh my God, it's just infinite, guys. Infinite. And you know that of which I speak is true. I can feel you feeling me right now. It just is God. It's all God. It's God. God, 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 God. And the more we surrender, the more he gives us. The more we give away to him, the more he gives back to us. Do you know there was a time, show me, I had bought currency, and I preached to the guy that was selling me the currency. I gave him my testimony of Christ. I told him how in love I was with God and why. He ended up giving me 2 for 1 on my Zim. On my Zim. Now, this was at a time when, it was still $30 for a 100 T note, and there was plenty of stock and all that stuff. So it wasn't what it is now, but he was giving me 2 for 1, and I didn't want it, but he gave it to me, and because he was appreciative that I had helped him not only sell some product, but also that he could talk to me about those types of things. Well, the problem is people kept finding good places to buy Zim, and they would call me and they say, Yosef, is this a good spot? And I say, yeah, I'll call them and we'll hook it up and I'll make sure. I didn't take anything. I just said I'll get you from A to B and get you where you need to go. Well, I would always get the other half of that. He would still give me 2 for 1 on purchases I didn't even make. So all the Zim that I ended up buying, I ended up giving away the half that was given to me just because I didn't pay for it. I ran out of people to give Zim to at some point. And then I started giving it to institutions and cities and caretakers, and it got weird. All because I shared the love of God with somebody and it multiplied. That's all. And I know people think that's an unusual situation and we'll never be in a position where you can buy infinite amounts of money, but it wasn't the point to me. It was like, because I was innocent and because I was loving to another person and showed them kindness and love and listened to them, it multiplied. The love multiplied. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us here in this redemption of this, what is it, paper currency, whatever it is, sin, debt, is if we approach things from a loving and sincere and innocent place and really be the Lamb of God as Christ was, and be the meek of the earth and truly stay in that energy of being the meek and the lamb and the humble of God, we have the opportunity to expand our territory beyond measure. And I see so many people, fighting the RV and not really linking into the spiritual aspect of multiplying the love of God out to others. But as you guys get your money and you get your accounts, you're going to quickly realize there is no money. They've given you so many zeros, they're proving a point to you that there is no money. Then what do you got? Then what are you worth? It's your soul. Your soul is what all the cabal was after. It's not the money. It's not your asset. It's not your house. They were after your soul. Because your soul was God, and they were after the destruction of God in any way, shape, or form they could. Crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Really crazy. God will work through you, too. I mean, I've seen it myself a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a good place to end the call on.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Message.
Thanks, Joseph.
And thank you, ShowMe, for coming in and doing relief duty for Dr. WC. It's not easy being that beautiful, so she got to get her sleep. Glamour is difficult. It's a chore.
She's a sweetheart for the death. So.
Yeah, well, she was doing this before there was a ShowMe or a Yosef, let me tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she was leading the pack long before there was a pack. She created the pack. Yeah. And created, this movement and real truth callers out there. I've given some of the Zim actually that was given to me to Dr. WC. So, there's Zim for the entire Real Truth family to do projects if you only have Dong or Dinar, couldn't afford the Zim. We've got it in spades. Just find Dr. WC with a coherent plan of what you want to do, and she'll help you.
I think she's on right now. Are you on, Dr. WC?
No.
She's not. Okay.
No, she's got that mask on. She got her like her green face on to get her pores all clean for the next day. She got that sleeping mask on. Yeah, she's out. So enjoy your redemption. Just really come into it with a spiritual place and looking to experience and love and share love and give love. Don't stress the rate. Don't stress the structured payout. Don't stress the skeleton trust. Don't stress how many people are in the room. Don't stress if your shoes are polished. Don't just come in with a smile. Come in, love on somebody. Bring your little pieces of paper. Bring it in your little suitcase and your little knapsack, whatever you got. Bring it in, and just witness God taking back the earth in the form of this redemption. Witness it, and you may not be able to share about your transaction after the fact, but you can sure share about God, reclaiming the earth and giving it back to the meek of the earth. You can sure claim that and share that. So thank you, Dr. WC. Thank you, ShowMe. And
thank you,
good luck,
Yosef.
guys. And I hope this was helpful, and it sure helped me because I sure learned a lot. Thanks for the questions, Tank.
Thank you, Tank.
Coming along. I think we lost him someplace on the way to heaven, but he had some issues with
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, he's in? Attaboy.
Wow.
I'm listening.
Attaboy. Yep. Chest deep right there.
Buddha's in. Buddha, say hi, Buddha.
He's saying hi in the spirit.
He's hiding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's probably buried under a Mai Tai. No, we're a little family here that's just trying to find the truth of things and trying to find the true God and trying to find it in the world from heaven instead of from the world up to heaven. We're approaching it from a different pathway, a different angle, and they'll join us, guys. They'll join us in the millions. You know, the Real Truth family will grow to exponential heights, and we'll have the honor of being one of the first that had to suffer through with Dr. WC, and before we were well polished and in nice facilities and doing 10 calls and podcasts, right? We'll have been on that early bandwagon to support Dr. WC, support the truth, and certainly support God. So, love everybody very much. I hope we never do one of these calls again, and we can engage in other conversations at a later date that have nothing to do with Zero's currency. We don't have to say the word Zimbabwe, Vietnam, or the rupiah again.
Preach.
So can I say something, Yosef? I really want to thank you for coming and doing these calls for us. I want to thank Tank, and I really want to thank Buddha. You three changed my life, so in an amazing way. So I want to thank you.
How did Buddha change your life?
You know what? That man, I mean, I kept him up lots of nights, and he was there for me every day. I mean, I've talked to him 5-6 times a day, and he's an amazing guy. I can't send enough love to him because he's actually changed my whole life, so for the better. So hard to even talk. I'm very emotional for me, so very.
Well, see, there you go, the Canadian. See, when you guys do talk, you're very emotional and you're very sincere.
Yeah, and Tank too. I mean, I drove Tank nuts with a million texts, so every day. So, thank you.
All right, Dylan. Talk to you later. Good call, guys.
Okay, guys. Have a good night, guys. God bless everyone. Good luck.
I'll let the Real Truth callers know that Dr. WC will probably put this on tomorrow. You won't be able to get the recording till tomorrow, but I think you can use the playback number tonight for anybody who wanted to listen to it tonight. So, thanks to the Real Truth callers, and we're out of there.
Okay, God bless everyone. Enjoy your life. Surrender to God. It gives you strength, and help others find them. Just find them in the darkness. Be the bridge. God bless.
Love you all.